Viva Italia! We're in Italy, or more specifically, the marvelous city of Milan. You might recognize the famous Duomo di Milan, started in 1386 and took almost 600 years to complete. Milan is so much more than that. Do you want sleek and modern, beautiful architecture? Milan won't disappoint. How about visiting a Renaissance picture-perfect neighborhood? Milan has you covered. It tells the story of ancient Italian time gone by through its magnificent statues, but it also surprises you on every quarter with its modern take on everyday life and a sense of humor. It's a love for itself that makes Milan so different, so honest, a beauty from within. And just look at those so delicious markets, filled to the brim with Italian goodness. Every shelf, every window, ripe, fresh, delicate ingredients, prepared with the most honest of detail. And its culinary delights, even horse meat or cavallo, is served quite regularly in this part of the country. We had to try it. Buttery pastas with fresh vegetables, pasta with black truffle, simple and generously prepared, thin-cut prosciutto ham, fresh Italian loaf bread with chunks of salty, nutty cheese. It's near impossible to choose. But today I'm going to take you on a journey through Milan in this extremely inviting dish. It's going to be like no meatball you've ever tasted. The Mondegheli, the meatball of Milan. Make it to Milan. That's all I can tell you. It's a beautiful city, worth a visit. Don't even try to spend like a day or two there. I would at least cut out at least 2 or 3 days, if not even maybe a little longer, to see the beautiful city and all its sights. But don't miss it. When you go to Italy, everybody loves Rome, everybody loves Florence. Milan is certainly worth a visit, especially for its food. A lot of cured meats up there, a lot of great cheeses come from the region. So don't skip it out. Visit Milan, eat the food, just like we're going to do today. This is a recipe from Milan called the Mondegheli. The Mondegheli is a style of meatball. Now, meatballs aren't typically found in Italy, not at least in the way that we make them here in America. So with the ground beef and the seasonings and the onion, that is all out the door today because we are doing the Mondegheli from Milan. If you like my channel, please like and subscribe so that we can continue bringing you some great recipes, great cooking experiences, and a little bit of travel and everywhere in the world. So like and subscribe. On to the Italian Milan style meatballs, Montegheli. This recipe utilizes leftovers. So if you're a big fan of leftovers, this is a great recipe for you. Italians love their leftovers. They think of the panzanella bread. Think of some of the stale cookies that are used in some of the desserts. So this one utilizes pre-cooked beef, and you can use pork, but beef particularly is very nice for this. But it's pre-cooked, and usually it's beef that's cooked down to a like a fall apart type of status. So think short ribs, think brisket, think something like that. If you have some of that left over, quite frankly, a lot of us do because you eat a big meal and then you have a lot of stuff left over. So this is a great way to utilize it and have it for another meal that tastes completely different. This recipe incorporates mortadella, or you can use American bologna in this, but the truth is mortadella is much more of a delicate product, and you really should use the mortadella. That incorporates a little bit of saltiness, a little bit of creaminess into the meatball, along with the beef, and those two meats together, along with some breadcrumbs and other things, are going to make a fantastic Milan-style meatball. Let's get started. So down here we have our ingredients. We have the breadcrumbs, of course. I'm just using panko today, but I've always said you can make your own breadcrumbs easily. Beautiful mortadella I've chopped up. I'm putting all the ratios on the screen. So some pre-cooked beef. Now, this is just some chuck that I had for a stew. I didn't use it, but it's fully cooked, and if I would heat this up, it would fall apart. 2 tablespoons or so of butter. We're going to cook in butter. Northern Italians tend to use more butter than olive oil. We do use olive oil, but typically butter is more used because we're closer to Switzerland and those countries where they do use more butter. Parmesan cheese, of course, you can use the real Parmigiano Reggiano. or the American style, I would definitely suggest the Parmigiano Reggiano in this case, the real Italian stuff. A little more pricey, but well worth the cost. Now some lemon zest, chopped parsley, and use the Italian parsley, not the curly leaf. Typically, this has a lot more flavor. Salt and pepper, of course. A little bit, just one egg. And finally, some nutmeg. Not a lot, about a half a teaspoon there, maybe even less. But ground nutmeg. This is going to give it that kind of a little bit of a warm spice to it. Really makes the meatball delicious. So that's it. That's all you need from the mixing to the cooking. Now, the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to mix our meat in our food processor. So I'm going to throw the beef in. I'm going to throw the mortadella in. And with my camera, you can't really see the mixer, but you don't need to. You'll see it in the bowl when we get it in there. I'm going to fine chop this for just a minute or two. A little bit more. Perfect. Next, you're going to want to get a bowl and move some of this stuff over. Come on down. You're going to take your meat mixture. Now you see I haven't pulverized it. It's more like almost like a wet sand type of thing. And that again is the mortadella and the beef. You're going to take your one egg, Parmesan cheese. You're going to take the parsley. I told you this is simple. Nutmeg. Lemon zest. This is quite a bit, so I'm just going to use about half of this. That's about a teaspoon. A little bit of black pepper. And about a half a teaspoon of salt. And if the meat was very heavily salted, you don't really need to do that. You can just skip out on the salt altogether. Stir this together. Now the egg is going to bring this mixture together. Now, if this mixture seems a little loose, the easiest thing to do is to wet it down with a little bit of milk. Now, I didn't put that originally in the ingredient level, but the truth is, sometimes you don't need it. So once it starts to look a little like it's coming together, I want you to throw about 3/4 cup of breadcrumbs right in there. Don't throw them all in because you're going to need some to coat the meatball. And let the egg, and in this case milk, soak up the breadcrumb. That's it. Notice there's no garlic in this. Everybody thinks, oh, it's Italian, it's got to have garlic. No, it doesn't. It's perfectly fine without it. In fact, I can smell it from here, and it smells delicious. Next, you're going to take nice clean hands. You're going to take and you're going to roll the meatball out. If it's not sticking together, it's not doesn't have enough liquid, and they're not going to stick together like ground beef. Remember, they're going to be a little bit more delicate than that. You're going to shape it into kind of a torpedo shape, and I like to flatten the edges or flatten the surface just a bit, because if not, they don't tend to fry as well. And then you just simply dip it in the breadcrumb. And remember, these are going to be a little more gentle, so you got to handle them with care. Once they're dipped in the breadcrumb, I just like to reshape it a bit. And I'll put it on my platter over here, ready to fry. Now, for the video, I'm only going to do about 2 or 3 of these, just to give you an example, and then I'll finish them off camera before we present them to you. Oops, there we go. So, little torpedo shape, flatten it out, get it in the breadcrumb. And there you have it. And it's okay if your breadcrumbs fall back into the mixture. Do one more. Press torpedo shape. I like to flatten the ends, the edges, I should say, or the surface a little bit. Kind of press it together a little bit tight too. That egg sometimes doesn't take hold. That's it. Let's fry these up in some butter. Okay, moving this stuff over. I've got my heat on, my pan. I'm going to put the butter in. Now this pan's been going for quite a while, so I'm going to take it off the heat and just let that butter kind of melt out. Never fry things when butter is real frothy and bubbly like this. Let it kind of calm down a bit. Not sure if we're going to use all that butter, but in truth, we may take some of that out. Nice part is you don't have to worry about raw meat in this because everything is cooked. I'm going to take that out. So it's about a tablespoon and a half. You notice it's real bubbly and frothy like this. We don't want that. We don't want to fry in that. We want to wait for some of that froth and bubbles to kind of go down. That'll help to cook off some of the milk solids in the butter and give us a much more even, clarified butter to cook in. So that's about right. Put these in. And the egg will help to tighten up as they cook. Now, that looks really good. And this can be a meal on its own, and it can also just be a kind of a side appetizer as well. We are back, and will you look at these? That's right. After they fry up, they become these beautiful, very delicate, crispy, crunchy meatballs. Now, this is not your traditional meatball. As you can see, when you cut into it, they get very flaky and beautiful, and they're very delicate like that. So this is not the traditional beef spaghetti and meatball style meatball. These are flaky and beautiful, delicious. We're going to taste them now. So here we go. I didn't have these when I was in Milan. I wish I would have because they look so very good. Here we go. Mm. That is wonderful. A little bit of saltiness from the mortadella, but such a beautiful Northern Italian European style flavor. Very untraditional in terms of with the meatball. And that nutmeg just kind of hits that little point right there where it makes it such a great, beautiful, different, and unique dish. I love bringing you unique dishes. I gotta take another bite. Delicious. So make these in your own kitchen. If not, then you'll have to go to Milan. After all, it's a beautiful city. You should see it. Like and subscribe. Thanks for joining me today. See you next time.